In the contemporary digital ecosystem, a highly calculated genre of content has emerged under the guise of weary pragmatism, the racial fatigue video. These videos, which feature creators from various backgrounds lamenting a supposed exhaustion with the other side, frame themselves as a rational response to an oversaturated, hyperreactive media landscape. However, beneath this thin veneer of cultural burnout lies a sophisticated psychological operation that functions equally across the ideological spectrum. Its singular, destructive goal is the normalization of deep-seated resentment between black and white communities. By weaponizing the psychological phenomenon of fatigue, this content systematically erodes cross-cultural empathy, delegitimizing individuality, and manufactures a state of perpetual friction. The most insidious mechanism of this mutual psyop is the strategic destruction of the individual in favor of the monolith. On both sides of the digital divide, creators hijack real-world events, specifically instances of crime, violence, or antisocial behavior, and strip away all personal accountability. When a crime is committed, the algorithms and content creators do not present it as the action of a single bad actor. Instead, they frame the criminal as an inevitable representation of their entire race and identity. Example: individual crime and action, leading to algorithmic framing, which leads to monolithic racial representation, which ends in the mutual hostility. This framing operates symmetrically, feeding two distinct but identical narratives of fear and grievance. Narrative 1, the narrative of ambient threat. One side utilizes viral footage of urban crime or interpersonal conflict to argue that an entire demographic is inherently dangerous, lawless, or hostile to outsiders, transforming isolated incidents into a generalized threat profile. Narrative 2, the narrative of systemic malice. Conversely, the other side utilizes footage of authority figures or everyday citizens engaging in misconduct to argue that the behavior represents an immutable, pervasive hatred inherent to the other opposing demographic, framing every negative interaction as proof of an ongoing coordinated assault. By reducing complex human behaviors and individual criminal acts to mere symptoms of racial identity, these videos create a mirror image radicalization pipeline that traps viewers on both sides. The symmetrical radicalization pipeline. 1. The hook. Validate a viewer's natural digital exhaustion or anxiety regarding public safety and social tension. 2. The shift. Redefine a single isolated act of criminal behavior or cruelty as an attack perpetrated by one collective identity against another. 3. The target. Isolate and villainize the opposing race as an inherently malicious, untrustworthy, or toxic force. 4. The outcome. Mutual isolation, hypervigilance, and the justification of preemptive hostility under the banner of self-preservation. Ultimately, racial fatigue content is not a grassroots reflection of authentic public sentiment, but an algorithmic trap that preys on the tired mind. It turns natural psychological exhaustion into active suspicion, and healthy skepticism into rigid prejudice. By treating the worst actions of an individual as the defining characteristics of a whole population, it ensures that genuine communication becomes impossible. To dismantle this psyop, the false premise must be rejected from every angle. The erosion of modern society is not driven by the inherent nature of any one race, but by the relentless, manufactured outrage that commands us to see an enemy in every individual. Recognizing this content for what it truly is, a mutual mechanism for spreading division, is the first step towards reclaiming a culture rooted in individual accountability, mutual respect, and collective resilience.